Hello and welcome all to the Pig and Whistle YouTube channel. I'm going to be going over a composition that's come to life recently, and it's one that involves Moonkin, Demon Hunter, and then any sort of healer that you prefer. I play it with a Mistweaver monk, and it's basically a very high tempo comp. You've got compositions such as Retribution Paladin and Warrior. You've got stuff like Melee Cleaves, Kitty Cleaves, that's Feral Druid and whatever, Warrior, etc. Caster Cleaves such as Warlock, Shadow Priest, all of that good stuff. But this is one that's come to light, and it's one that Boomkins can actually be involved in, and it's very nice to actually have a composition that's very strong at the moment, and you can look to play with in looking for group and with any sort of healer. So I'm going to be going over just a couple of games that I played with the composition, sort of what my decisions are, how the composition's playing out, what I'm sort of looking at during the fights and stuff like that as they unravel. Obviously, I'm playing with a Mistweaver monk, myself, and a Demon Hunter. These are the talents that I would usually take. They are straight down the middle. It's usually Mass Root or Bash that I would change out, but I mean, yeah, it's very rare that you would change out Mass Root. Maybe against a Druid healer, you would look to do it, but I find that Mass Root is best for every other healer because you can Mass Root and then go straight into the damage for your Demon Hunter. So let's get started. Obviously, we have a first one on Dalaran Arena. We've got a Ret Warrior, very common. So here we want to look to hit the Retribution Paladin. He starts off by imprisoning the warrior. I look to get a root beam on the priest. I'm just sort of blocking out everything, and my guy wanted to go. I made the mistake here of actually trinketing to get this because I was in a spear. My root beam does get the priest trinket, that's the one. So what I did, I sent my damage and gave my Demon Hunter a lot of damage pretty much. What I'm doing here is just kiting the wings and sort of CCing when I can. So I CC'd off the leg sweep, and now I can just pump a little bit of damage into the paladin, get him on the back foot. We've got a double stun here, so I'm going to make use of this when I can and just pump out some damage. Obviously root the warrior when I can so that they aren't getting as much uptime on me as possible. We get Leap of Faith out here. The paladin's just topping himself up back there, so I'm trying to lead the warrior away a little bit just to see what damage I can do to him and see if I can, expend the healer's mana a bit more. Here, just dotting everything up. We got a wing proc, Unbound Freedom. Obviously, it's very scary, so just hop into bear form, typhoon them away, kite as much as I can. Now, I make the decision to root beam here and sit in bear form because I gave my Demon Hunter some damage with Kindred's Empowerment, and I gave the CC on the healer, so my Demon Hunter can get a lot of damage output here. Now with Kindred Empowerment, obviously I still had my buff, so I sent my Fury of Elune on the Paladin and did my sort of mini go as well, just to put more pressure on the Paladin, which we do get bubble out of in the end. Here, because the Warrior and the Paladin aren't on me, I get a lot more free time to go for CC. So I'm just sort of babysitting the priest at the moment. I fuck up the timing there of the clone. I should be a lot more on top of it. This wasn't my best session, I will say that. When it comes to Boomkin Demon Hunter gameplay, I was very slow with a lot of my decisions here, and it cost us a couple games, to be honest. I went about 50-50 during this session. Hodge, don't necessarily want to trinket. My healer is free, so we get a lot of or I get a dispel off of it. Root Beam gets the trinket again from the priest, which is really nice, and we can just free CC off of that. I do make the mistake of putting my clone on its last diminishing returns. I could have waited a tiny bit longer. This is Wings. I haven't really been that scared at the moment because I was in bear form. Again, they still hit you like a dump truck though, so you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure that you're playing very safe when possible. Here, just getting my dots out. While my Demon Hunter's being attacked by everything, I get to put out my pressure. I get to do as much damage as I can, and that gets a lot of resources out with the Paladin. The Paladin's not doing as much damage because he's having to heal. We'll get a nice incap into a clone here from the monk and myself, into another clone. I give my Demon Hunter some empowerment because I know that he's going to be popping some damage in Metamorphosis now that he just popped. And we get Die by the Sword, even though we're not even hitting the warrior, we get Die by the Sword. Root Beam is very nice. Again, it puts a lot of pressure. The Paladin should be Root Beaming or Freedoming the Priest here. Here is very unlucky. He gets the bop off, and I went for an in-cap roar because I thought that my Demon Hunter would be able to kill the Paladin, but he just got the bop off in time. He was honestly as low as he could be. Here I'm Hodge, so I'm just sort of waiting for a Dispel, but because the fear comes through, I have to Trinket because Mind Games is the very scary thing, and I just Shadow Meld and Stealth away. Here, just looking to output as much pressure as I can onto the Paladin. He's hard casting Flash of Light, which is very useful. And I give Fury of Elune, give Kindred Empowerment. My monk moves in for the leg sweep. I get the full clone. This is so much pressure that we got going on here. I've got Root Beam in 5 seconds, but obviously he's going to Trinket. And my Demon Hunter does finish the job anyway on the Paladin. And it's nice and simple. I just clone so that we're not, under any pressure. We're making sure that we're topped up and stuff. Root Beam the healer, go on to the warrior. Healer gives it, and that is GG's. This is one of the tougher compositions to go against at the moment because it is so volatile in the damage department. We've got another matchup here, 1 caster, 1 warrior, obviously. Again, Root Beam I'm taking because the Root Beam is very nice to take for a Paladin. Here, I made the mistake of Root Beaming into the Imprison. I could have waited a few seconds and then got an extra bit of CC. I give my Kindred Empowerment damage to my Demon Hunter, and I send it on the Shaman as well. Obviously, he's popped Astral and has Earth Elemental up, so this is every single bit of defensives that the Shaman has. So we're not going to kill him here by no means. Can just clone off, obviously, Warrior Trinkets to go aggressive. He's very angry. Our Monk gets switched to by the Paladin, or gets hodged, so I'm looking to just peel here with as many clones as I can. Now, ideally, I throw my Innovate as early on as I can into these matchups because everyone's pressing their buttons. Here we get the Shaman's Trinket as well as the Paladin's Trinket sack. So this is a massive win for us, and we haven't even pressed cooldowns. We've actually got cooldowns coming up. So if I can land a CC here, which is very unlucky timing. I went for the Root Beam, but Grounding ate the root, so he didn't get rooted in the beam. I get the Roar into a half DR clone, and I pop my cooldowns for my Demon Hunter, because we're just looking to sort of the Paladin at this point. My Monk hits a very nice Ring of Peace to keep the Paladin up against the wall, and we get so much pressure off of this. We're cleaving the Warrior and the Shaman at the same time. I clone the Shaman half, just because that way the DRs, the diminishing returns on the Paladin, can come back. And I'm just cloning anything that I can off cooldown here. I disarm the Warrior because we want to keep on top. We don't necessarily want to be pushed back. Get the full clone on the Paladin, and that gets Bubble. That is the Paladin's last way to get out of the CC that we're providing at the moment. Again, we're just cloning the Warrior up whenever we can. I should be rooting the Warrior a lot more here. But our Monk looks to in-cap after I should have cloned after this leg sweep, to be honest. Because I think my diminishing return would have come back. But in-cap or leg sweep into the Root Beam. I push the Shaman out so that my Demon Hunter might be able to connect. But he was in a root, or he was stunned, feared, whatever, by the Warrior. So the Warrior did well to peel there. Again, I'm just sort of chilling. I'm free casting as much as I can, and it's great fun. CC the Warrior when I can. I'm always looking on my Omni bar for Spell Reflect. Obviously, if he does have Spell Reflect up, I'm going to start casting Clone, and then he'll probably cast Spell Reflect 0.2 seconds before it's done. I just stop the cast and hit a Moonfire on him. Here we get a nice CC chain. This will guarantee at least a Trinket from the Paladin, most likely. So we get an in-cap, obviously Stormkeeper as well, very scary. We got Grounding, we got Bop as well from the Paladin. Here I'm just looking to give empowerment damage to whoever I can, so my Demon Hunter of course. And I've still got the empowerment and stuff as well, so I Root Beam, and then I finally send it on to the Shaman here. And I get a nice clone. or I should get a nice clone. No, he's on DR, I believe. Yep. So here I send it on the Shaman, and we just honestly chunk him, even without like any, not CDs, any CC on the Paladin. The Shaman just goes down very easily. It's very high intense. When you're left alone as a Boomkin, all your job is to CC whatever you can. Whatever is possible to CC, you use on it. So if you've cloned the Paladin and the Shaman, then you clone the Warrior next, because, you know, by that time that you've cloned him a couple times, the diminishing return on the Paladin will then be off, and you can clone the Paladin again. Or you can entangle and roots the Warrior. You're wanting to get the least amount of downtime or uptime for the Warrior as possible, as well as keep the Shaman constantly on the back foot, or the other DPS. You're the CC bot in this. I will say that you're the one looking to provide openings for your team that they can benefit from. So it doesn't matter if you're using Kindred Empowerment not for yourself. If you're giving it to your Demon Hunter and giving him a bit of extra damage while you sit in bear form, soak up damage, root beam and CC the healer, then that is fine. Your Demon Hunter will do so much damage and you don't need to worry about a thing. So you're the provider here. You're the one that gives openings to your team. You're not the one dealing damage a lot of the time. You're the one that, you know, supporting. You are very much a supportive role as a Boomkin, and this is what you excel at in this composition, because the Demon Hunter brings so much raw damage to the table that it isn't that much of an issue if you're not dealing as much damage as, you know, you feel like you have to be. As long as you're getting your CC on point and is perfect, then you will win games just from, you know, providing that support to your team. But that is all for today. Thank you all very much for listening and watching as always. Do check out obviously the podcast and everything. Anything supports me. I do stream constantly on Twitch, so be sure to check it out. All the links are in the description for everything. Thank you all very much for watching, and go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all.